Never, ever give up. Never give up on yourself. If there are some people in your life, if there are some things in your life that are holding you back, get rid of it. Harsh as it might sound, get rid of it. Focus on the positive. Always. It can be hard to do, I know, but I swear your life is going to be so much better.
Hey everyone, this is Rod Cate and welcome to this week's episode of Rocket Motivation. First, I want to thank my friends Russ Copeland and Robert Hedge of Hedge Copeland Personal Injury Lawyers and Jason Darley of the Darley Law Firm, Criminal Lawyers, for their contribution to Rocket Motivation to keep us rolling. We've got a treat this week because this week's guest is from Belgium. This is our first European guest. She was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2009. She's going to tell her story of how living with MS has affected her and how she has managed to live a full life and keep moving forward. Inge Vanhoorne, welcome to Rocket Motivation.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So Inge, kind of tell us where you are now in your life, kind of where you live, your job, your family, what's going on?
As you said, I live in Belgium in a very beautiful town called Beach. I'm 38 years old. I have one son. I currently don't work, actually, due to the problems that I have because of my MS. I'm just trying to live my best life.
So, Inge, let's go back to 2007. You're 24 years old. Take us through what was going on with you.
Okay, so at the time, I was working as a home care assistant. I think I was at my break, and I went to a store, and suddenly I fell over against the wall. And I didn't know what was going on. It was quite scary. And I thought, oh, maybe I just drank too much last night. I was really young, And then I fell over again. I thought, very close. And I started to get kind of scared and a little bit paranoid, and I didn't know what was going on. So I went to my client. This was a woman who didn't have any legs anymore. And usually I'm very used to that, and I like the woman very much. And this time, I couldn't even look at her. I think I went pale because she said, "Is something going on? You don't look very well." And I said, "Yeah, I'm just going to go to the bathroom." Went to the bathroom, looked at myself. I was white as a ghost, and I just went home. And then it just went worse. I got paranoid, I got a shake, and they actually took me to the hospital, and they thought I was having a nervous breakdown. They actually never did any MRIs or anything else, and they just thought, yeah, it's something psychological. And that was it. And I went back to work, I think 2 or 3 weeks later, like nothing happened.
All right, so time goes by. And then I know in 2009, I believe is when you get diagnosed with MS. Kind of take us through what happened at that point.
So the same kind of thing happens, but only 10 times worse. I don't remember exactly when it happened. I think at a clothing store. I started falling over again, and I got paranoid again. I thought everybody was following me, watching me, and they took me to the hospital again. To make a long story short, they did some tests, and then they discovered that I had 13 lesions at the time in my brain. And they did some other tests and some blood work, and they said, yeah, unfortunately, you have MS. And at the time, I remember I couldn't even sit on a chair. So without falling over, it was pretty bad.
Well, I think, most people, especially in the U.S., when they think of MS, they think about lesions on the spinal cord and how badly it affects movement. But with 13 lesions in your brain, I guess that's what explains the mental things that you were going through, huh?
Yeah. The biggest lesions were on my frontal lobes, and the frontal lobes are quite known for regulating your emotions. So that's probably why I thought everybody was following me. And also I was kind of aggressive, I think, towards other people. Yeah, and this is the thing that a lot of people don't know about MS. I actually want people to know that it's not just being paralyzed or not being able to walk. A lot of the time, it affects your brain. We'll have a lot of problems because of that. Sometimes cognitive problems. I used to have that. It depends on what form of MS you have. Sometimes you recover, sometimes you don't. So this is a big thing, actually. And a lot of young people, they suffer from it.
But you did have a lesion on your spinal cord also, right?
Yes. I don't know if I had, at the time, if I had any lesions on my spinal cord, because they didn't test that. But later on, I think in 2010, I remember going to Croatia. And the morning I woke up, the day that I wanted to go to Croatia. I woke up with a numb toe, and I was thinking to myself, I remember, I hope I just something small and it will go back to normal. But by the time I got to Croatia, quite a long drive, but no, I was already numb from my toes to my ankles. And then I think I stayed there for 10 days. I got back to Belgium and I was sort of paralyzed from my toes to my knees until they put me on the cortisone IV. And then slowly, very, very slowly, it got better.
Let me ask you this. So, how would you say having MS has most affected your life?
Oh, in many, many, many ways. I don't even know where to start, to be honest. When you're 26, you're very young, thinking about having kids. I didn't have kids at the time. About having a career. Suddenly, you have all these things going on. You're scared. And at the time, the medication wasn't as evolved as it's now. So I think to be honest, I got depressed in the beginning, which I think a lot of people do when they get diagnosed. My life as I knew it was over. I think of my life as the time before I was diagnosed with MS and the time after I was diagnosed with MS. But that's like the negative part of it. There is a positive side to it. I look at life in a different way. I think I'm more compassionate towards people.
As you said, the medicine has evolved, and so the treatment has evolved. So the treatment that you're on now, how does it work on you to help alleviate the symptoms of MS?
It's great. I'll try to compare it to the one that I had prior to that. So before I got pregnant with my son in 2012, I was on this medication in Belgium, it's called Rebif. I don't know if it still exists. I had to inject myself 3 times a week. I got pneumonia. I was sick all the time. Still got flares. I was actually on that medication when I got paralyzed. And then after my son was born, in the beginning of 2013, I started the medication I'm on now, which is called Isabri. It's an IV. I get it every month. I have had 0 flare-ups since then. That's a big, big, big difference.
Well, as we sit here today, all right, so you get the medicine has really helped with the flare-ups. But so how is your MS affecting you today?
Oh, it goes up and down. Like, I think with MS, you never really know how you're going to feel when you wake up. There's days that you feel okay, and there's days that you don't feel that well, either emotionally or physically. Well, that's at least how I feel. I also, they told me in the past, neurologists told me, it's only going to get worse. That's what people think. But if I compare myself right now to, let's say, 2010, I go to the gym like 2 or 3 times a week. I am tired after it, but I still do it. I'm exhausting. There's something that we call the MS fatigue, which means that I have to rest way more. But honestly, I'm doing quite well right now, I think, compared to how it used to be.
Right. And I think, when we talked earlier, and this is along the lines of what you've just said, that even with your medication, so you may not have outward signs of MS, but I think you called it the invisible illness. What do you mean by that?
For some people, of course, because some people really have symptoms that you can see. But when I walk on the street, like, people would never suspect that I have MS. That's why it's an invisible illness. So some people don't understand why I can't work right now. It's very hard to explain that there are some cognitive problems. For example, if I would have broken my leg, they would say, yeah, of course, you can't go to the gym, or you can't work, or you can't do this or that, because they can see it. But because all my problems are in my spine, in my spinal cord, in my brain, in my everything, that you can see, people don't really understand. I think most people have to see that something is wrong.
Yeah. So in other words, you'd have people like wondering, well, when they look at you, well, why aren't you working? Well, are you just lazy? Do you get that?
Yeah. Are you lazy? Yeah. Even my own family has said these things in the past. It's better now, but yeah, lost a lot of friends too. And this is a common thing. I talk to other MS patients because I have my IV every month and I see other people with MS. And most people say the same thing. they lost it. When they get diagnosed at a certain age, they lose their friends because they don't understand or they don't want to, they can't cope with it. Yeah, that's something that happens.
Have you ever had kind of the why me moment? Like, why did this have to happen to me?
Yeah, of course. In the beginning, I don't really have it anymore, no, because I've had it for a long while now. But in the beginning, I felt like a victim for my illness. Yeah, I definitely had it. Right now, when I talk about it, it's not from a victim point of view. I just see it as this has made me stronger. Even though it sucks, it has made me much stronger.
How did you go from victim mentality to where you are today, where you're saying, this has made me stronger? How did you get there?
How did I get there? I think I went through a lot in my life, even from a very early age. And I think a lot of the things that I went through, kind of like when I look back on it, I felt like a victim. And I think years ago, at a certain point, it just clicked like, okay, this victim thing that I'm doing is not helping me in any way. I started looking at it from another angle, like something. I looked at those things like the things that I went through and made me stronger. And that's how I got out of it. Just my mental state. I think I can't explain it. It's just something that happened along the way. I just said to myself, oh, shut up. You're still alive and it's not the end of the world.
Okay. Right now, are you in school? Are you studying anything right now?
Yeah, I'm studying online. I want to become a life coach. It's on an American school called Universal Class. The plan is to become an amazing life coach. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to.
Why is it that you want to be a life coach?
Well, why not? Because I've been through so many things. I've seen so much in my life. I already have my own Facebook group, support group where I help people, support group for humans. I've always wanted to help people. More than anything right now, that's what I want to do.
What is it about you, and based on what you've been through, why is it important for you to become a life coach to help people?
I want to see people evolve. The victim mentality that you were talking about, a lot of people have that. I swear a lot of people have that victim mentality, and I want them to understand that it's not helping them. And I want them to help to move out of that victim mode. Just live. Yeah, go for what they want to do. That's basically why.
I mean, with your life, what do you want to accomplish in your life? What are your big goals?
Well, the first one would be I want my son to become an amazing young man. I want him to be happy. Of course, that's my first priority as a mom. I want to have a happy home life. For me, that's the most important thing. And I actually want to have a career because I haven't worked for many, many years. It's going to be challenging, I won't lie. I'll have to work that out. I'm going to do it. But my dream is to become this person that people go to when they need to change, when they want to change them and just become a different kind of person, a better version of what they are. That's what I want in life.
I know you hadn't finished all your courses on being a life coach, but somebody asked you, so Inge, things are going bad in my life. I'm going through some bad times. I'm dealing with adversity. Based upon what you've been through in your life, what advice would you give them?
Of course, it depends on what is going on. First of all, we'd have to try to figure out the thing that I just talked about, if they are living in this victim mentality, because if they are, they can't really move on. I would have to talk with them and I would make them do some stuff, write some stuff, like the most important things in their life, who they think they are right now, who they want to become, and then we'll work from there. That's the first thing that I would want to do. And then we can work on the things that they actually want in life.
How have you done it? How have you overcome this adversity in your life to have such a positive attitude that you have right now?
How? It's always a very, very difficult question for me. I think it's just a combination of different things. Going through a lot of adversity. For me, actually, at a certain point in my life, it's not very long ago, just let's say 4 or 5 years ago, I was so sick of my life. I just said, go to hell, everyone. I'll just live my best life. I can't go through all this pain anymore. And I'm going to just try to have a better attitude. Also, very important, I try to listen to audiobooks, self-help audiobooks. there's a lot out there. There are billions of things that you can look up to make your life better. Listening to people like Tony Robbins, for example. And also, I met other people, and the people that I have in my life now are really positive, opposed to the people that I used to have in my life. They're very positive.
So I guess surrounding yourself with positive people, that's really helped you a lot.
Yes, definitely. I'll tell you, my best friend, John, he's the kind of person, he doesn't really say a lot. But when I went through some rough times, I just went to his house and I shared some stuff with him, and he said what he felt. And he's also this kind of person, like he has this mindset of no bullshit. Yeah. And he'll just say, you can do this. You can get through this. We'll listen to some music and everything would just like fade away and get there. So I love the people in my life right now. And I hope I meet more positive people. It's great.
So where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Hopefully very close to the beach. I want to move out of beach, go a little closer to the sea, because the sea, I love the sea. I always have. And I want to be an amazing life coach, and a great mom, a great partner. I want to be happy, and I want to make other people happy.
Well, Inge, one thing I like to do at the end of every show is give my guest the last word or the parting shot. You know, something maybe we haven't talked about along the lines of helping people out that are going through some tough times. Then give us something to close this episode out that people can get something out of.
Never, ever give up. Never give up on yourself. If there are some people in your life, if there are some things in your life that are holding you back, get rid of it. Harsh as it might sound, get rid of it. Focus on the positive. Always. It can be hard to do, I know, but I swear your life is going to be so much better.
That was great. And I know, because, I found you, on social media. I think I found you on Instagram. If anybody, who's listening to the show wants to follow you on social media, how can they do it?
Well, I recently changed my Instagram name. I am Inge, AY_EN_Inge, which is INGE. So AY_EN_INGE.
Okay. And if somebody does follow you, what kind of stuff do you put out there on your Instagram?
It's all about finding your way through bad times. Sometimes it's about MS, but it is stuff to empower people. It's also kind of funny, I think, but I'm biased. If you like sarcasm, definitely come and follow me.
Well, Inge, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I've really enjoyed getting to know you over the last 2-3 weeks. It's been a pleasure, and keep on doing what you're doing. We go through adversity, some tougher than others, and some can't handle it as well as others, but you seem like you're doing a great job, and thanks so much for sharing your story.
You're very welcome, and thank you for having me. It was great. Thanks.
What a cool episode with Inge Vanhoorne. She takes living with MS in stride and keeps moving forward with her life. Episode 35 is in the books. Next week's guest is Jana Rocker. She lost her left arm to cancer when she was 10 years old, and now, as an adult, is dealing with kidney failure and is on the transplant list. She has a great story of resilience and positive attitude. It's going to be a great show. See you next week. Thanks for listening to the show. If you're interested in getting my book, Get Back Up, just go to Amazon and put in Get Back Up and my name, Rod Cate, and it'll pop right up. I would love it if you would subscribe to the podcast and rate and review the show wherever you listen to your podcasts. I would really appreciate it if you'd share it with a friend. I would like as many people to hear my message as possible. And we'll see you next week. Never give up and always get back up.